Expensify, at least and maybe especially initially, is really all about the mobile app. So we're going to take a look at what the mobile app looks like. I'm going to tap my button down here, the little green camera button, because I want to take a picture of a receipt so I can submit it and get reimbursed or have it just go to my QuickBooks Online so I can book it. So let's take a picture of my receipt, and then I'll just tap the check mark. I'm all done. Within about 15 minutes at the most, it's going to smart scan, which means Expensify is going to figure out who the payee was, what the amount was, just like you see here, right? Here's my pizza receipt. The counter is a really good burger place out here in Los Angeles. So the smart scan, it makes life easy because right when I'm at the restaurant even, I can snap the picture of the receipt and then I can throw it away, right? And I have a permanent archive of it. And then notice what it's telling me here is, oh, I'm missing the category. So let's fix that. Let's go in here and I'll just tap on it. And then we're going to find meals. And this is synced to my QuickBooks Online chart of accounts. There's meals and entertainment, right? And then we're going to save that, and that should solve that policy violation. And that's the other thing, is we can create policies with Expensify so that we can say, hey, every expense has to get a category. And I can force my employees to do that, because if I don't make them do it, by the time it gets to my bookkeeper, some things might be obvious, like pizza rev, but the counter may not be so obvious what that is. So the other thing that's really cool, because this app is built around expenses and expense reports, then it follows naturally that there's going to be some travel involved. So going right over to the airplane icon at the top right there, notice it tells you can forward any travel itinerary from Expedia or whatever you might use over to receipts@expensify.com. It has to come from the email that's associated with your account so it knows where to put it. But then it will actually start tracking that trip for you. It'll give you updates on flight information for whatever airline you've booked. It's amazing what this app will do. And I've already shown you, again, how to fix issues right from the mobile app in terms of policy violation. Here's another use case that comes up quite a bit, actually, that I wanted to talk about here. So a lot of us as bookkeepers and accountants end up having that conversation with that client where the client says, hey, Seth, I got to make a confession. I've been using my personal credit card a lot for my business. Should I just put that on the books and treat it like a business account? And I say, no. What you should do is use Expensify, because here's what you can do in Expensify. Any user whom you invite in as a user in your Expensify account can go in here, and they can go into their personal settings, and then we can go to credit cards. And what you can do is you can link up your personal credit card as a feed in Expensify. That way you can go through and handpick only those expenses that were for the business. Those expenses will get coded and pushed to QuickBooks Online for reimbursement. So you're treating it the way it should be treated properly, as a reimbursement. Now, if you say, I don't want to get reimbursed, just make it my contribution into the business, fine. After it gets pushed in, we can record an entry that closes those out so that you don't get reimbursed. It just closes it out over to the equity section of your balance sheet as an owner contribution. In other words, there's a way to deal with that stuff however you want to, but doing it this way keeps it nice and clean so that your personal expenses and your business aren't commingled, which, as many of you hopefully know, can result in somebody piercing their corporate veil if and when it ever came down to that. And that's definitely not something you want. The whole point of going to the time, trouble, and expense of setting up a corporation or any entity is for the protection that it offers you from things like your personal assets. So Expensify is the best way, in my experience, for how to handle those personal accounts that we wind up using on behalf of the business. Get it in there, get reimbursed. Really, the reimbursement is the cleanest thing to do. But that's Expensify, my friends. So that was app number 3 on my 5 bookkeeping apps that will actually change the way that you do business. Stay tuned. Coming up next, we'll take a look at Finagraph.